Hello everybody and welcome back to my little side project where I'm developing an RPG game in the C programming language designed for the Game Boy, the original Game Boy. And of course here it is, our first village, our first successful map in game, fully rendered and running in the BGB Game Boy emulator. So let's have a look around, shall we? Now this area up here, this is going to be a little cave, and I hope once you go in there there's going to be a little side quest, perhaps fetch an item, you know, the first item in the game to be able to continue on. And for now I'm not quite sure how much I'm going to put in this game. It's just a little project to start with to really help me continue learning and developing my knowledge of the C programming language. And one of the things that took quite a bit of time and a bit of effort in order to get working was simply this, that when the character gets down to the bottom of the screen, the camera moves. And how I've had to actually do this is, if we actually look at the code quickly, I created this little tracker called location, and I declare it globally right at the top here, and we have location X, location Y, and they're both set to 75 because that's the center of the map and it starts off outside his house. And from there, every time we are looping through the movements of the joypad, and that's when the animations come in, I have had it set that for as long as, while each cycle of this loop happens, we add 8 steps onto the location. Where have I put that? There we go, sorry. Location X equals location X minus 8. So that would be for moving left. We deduct 8 from our tracker, our counter for our location. And then if that reaches less than 0, which is of course here, this is less than 0 in our array. Remember that our entire map is effectively an array. So once it reaches less than 0, we scroll the background negative 95 spaces. And then we move our sprite to a specific location that matches where we are in location to where we've moved. So even though that was rather simple, it was quite difficult for me to... Obviously I am still learning much of this programming language, I'm still learning to program, so using this little technique is the way. I've played around with a few techniques of doing this and I found this to be the most efficient. And the map itself is a little bit smaller than it was in the initial post. The initial post I had a more grand idea for this map location. So let's have a little look around of this much smaller version of the village. And you'll notice I don't quite yet have collisions working in the background. So, but that will be coming in the near future. And the music I have playing in the background here is just a free, royalty-free one I found on the internet, and I will put a link to that in the description. So up here, I imagine us travelling up into some mountains or some higher point away, and this being a bit of a tavern, hence all the barrels and everything situated right outside. So yeah, that's the whole of our humble little village, and of course this is our main character's home. I think I said that. Probably edit that bit out. And overall I'm pretty happy with the progress. And the reason why the maps had to be made much smaller is of course just the hardware capabilities of the original Game Boy. You see, there are some more advanced techniques that games like Link's Awakening and Final Fantasy used that I haven't quite mastered and figured out yet, because obviously there's not that much documentation on any of this. That's the real reason why I wanted to do this project, is because I'm having to work everything out for myself. So originally when I designed the map I imagined that I could just render one, render the other in the sequence of scenes. However, the Game Boy could only handle and hold in VRAM a map of an array of 32 by 32 8 by 8 sprites. So our main character here, he is made of 4 8 by 8 pixel sprites. So he's kind of an array of 4 8 by 8 sprites. And the entire map is 32 8 by 8 sprites. That's the maximum amount it could actually handle. So that's the limitation we've had to work with. And here I'm hoping eventually to exit into a little woodland area and a second map. And inside each of these houses there being people to talk to and a real sense of adventure. I might change the map a little bit. I might make this building here the tavern, and this building a second house, as obviously the building down here is much longer. But yeah, all a work in progress, and thus far I'm quite happy with my work, and it's really nice to see it, something I've created from scratch, running in an emulator for a console that I was very attached to as a child. I spent a lot of wonderful memories and time playing and enjoying my imagination running wild. So it's really nice and satisfying to create your own game, really, working in those limitations. And the art style I've chosen here, I did mention this obviously in the Facebook post, but I wanted to get away from the overcomplicated aesthetic of a lot of Game Boy games. I often found there was too much going on the screen, and often more is less. So I wanted there to be detail in certain areas such as the buildings and the houses, but then I wanted it to be quite empty and clean, and less detail in places where there was less interesting information, such as within the grass. So, and I think overall it is an aesthetic that has worked very well. So thank you everybody for watching. I hope you like what you see thus far. Don't forget to like and comment, and if you've got any ideas or stories to share about this game console, or even the Game Boy Color, because of course it was very similar, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. So thank you for watching. Bye bye.